Hello, welcome back to the human side of AI, and I'm your host, Flora. I'm so glad you're here. A quick note before we get into today's episode, because I'm all about accountability and transparency. So I did not have our Monday AI hosts run their show this week. I know. But the good news, they're coming back this Monday, so make sure you're tuned in. And honestly, after you hear today's conversation, you might understand why I got a little behind, because if I had had access to this platform my guest is building, I genuinely think I would have had time to make it happen. So that's right. Today's guest is creating something that I have not been able to stop thinking about since we hit record. Her name is Katherine, and she is the founder of AI-Powered Social, where she teaches small business owners how to use AI in practical, real-life ways, and we love that. But what she came here to talk to me about today is something that she's quietly building in the background, an AI house manager, an operating system designed to handle all of the logistics, the mental load, and invisible labor of running a home. So that might be the time you sit down to do your actual work. You're already set up for success. Katherine's background is fascinating, from a bagel franchise and a 50s diner in the mountains in New York to Las Vegas to landing a spot in the Anthropic Partner Network to this. Oh my gosh, the line is so clear once she tells it. So I want to warn you, this one is going to make you want to reorganize your entire life, but in the best way. So let's get into it.
So it looks like it's recording here on this end.
And now we're officially recording. Yeah. Okay, great. So Katherine, let's run that back. Please introduce yourself and tell people where you're calling from in this season.
Sure, absolutely. So my name is Katherine Gruenberg. I'm very excited to be here today. Is this the actual podcast? Like, are we recording the podcast right now? Okay.
Oh yeah, we're here.
All right. So my name is Katherine Gruenberg, and I am the founder of AI-Powered Social, where I teach small business owners how to use artificial intelligence in practical ways in their business. And we are here today because I believe we had discussed, I am working on a small project called the AI House Manager. So it's an operating system where it supports basically your success before you start your day. All of the
beautiful.
All of the productivity that basically you have to do as far as house management. To put you in a successful position, whether, you have a full-time job or you're an executive or you're running a business. But this is like everything that has to happen before you start your day. Yeah.
Wow, that is so valuable. So luckily we're okay on time, and we're gonna cover a lot, I have a feeling. So Katherine, let's run it back. I'm still curious how you move from place to place in the season. So I want to come back to that. And then I want to really learn how, Katherine in New York, the version of you then got into AI, and then, and I want to learn kind of your story on how you brought it to this place. So take me back.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm originally from New York. And from New York, I moved to upstate New York, and my husband and I have been in hospitality and ran restaurants for, for a long time. He ran a bagel franchise with his family, and I jumped in and helped them. And then from there, we moved to upstate New York, and we purchased a 50s diner and a motel and in the Adirondack Mountains. And we did that for 9 years, raised our, our two sons were born there, and decided that we were chopping wood and living off the land and, skating around jukeboxes and having a great time. And, but, tourist times changed, and it was a very small town. So from there, we moved to Las Vegas.
That's not a small town. Yeah. Okay.
The complete opposite. We were there for 9 years, continued to raise our two boys. And that's kind of where my journey started in technology.
What brought you to Vegas, though? You guys just woke
Well,
up one day and said Vegas, or?
well, my husband's in hospitality, and it was really the hot spot to get the best opportunities for our
Yeah.
family, and
Cool.
he was lucky enough to land an amazing opportunity at in near Caesars,
Awesome.
and so that was and we had friends there, so that was our ticket to go. So
Okay.
we loved it. Absolutely fantastic experience, fantastic season there. And that's kind of where my technology experience started. My younger son has some challenges, and I was also in the hospitality and realized that I had to do something that gave me the flexibility that I would be able to support him. Um, so that's pretty much where my tech started. I actually got a scholarship to the Flatiron School for software development.
Amazing.
And then that evolved into just front end development because I really loved that. Then we kind of crossed paths with a phenomenal YouTube group that was there with Sean Cannell and Think Media.
Okay.
They pretty much taught me everything about like social media, marketing,
Wow.
YouTube, YouTube growth. And that was amazing. And from there, COVID happened, and I had to really, I was kind of just dabbling and doing things with my son and homeschooling him. And long story short, COVID happened and realized that, hey, hospitality completely shut down, and mommy had to start, really pulling the strings to, put food on the table. So I went all in on AI powered social. I was doing social media marketing for local
Amazing.
businesses, and it kind of grew from there. Then, artificial AI came in, ChatGPT started, and people started reaching out to me. Just what do we do with this? How do we even start with ChatGPT? I don't even know where to go. A lot of people still very afraid of it. But business owners were reaching out to me because they knew it was something that they had to be a part of,
Yeah.
start integrating into their business, because this is where technology was moving, and it was moving very fast.
So people are coming to you at this point. Have you already started dabbling with AI, or like talk to me a little bit about kind of like where you are in your AI journey at this point?
Yeah, so I, small business owners were coming to me. They were new, no, because I was already sharing that, this could help you with content creation just because I was more so on the back end of social media management for small
Yeah.
businesses. So, businesses were already like, oh my gosh, I'm like, this could shave hours. We can, automate, well, at that time we weren't automating just yet, but at least we can use it for, copywriting, graphic designs. That was still a little, in the beginning, that was interesting. But moving forward, moving forward from there, we were trying, I was introducing it and trying to teach them better ways that they could efficiently at least get content out.
Perfect. Perfect.
So that's basically where that journey started. And then, I use it in my business every day. I just got accepted into for the opportunity of the Claude Anthropic Partner Network.
Awesome.
Yes.
Congrats.
So I'm really excited about that, trying to pull together my team. So that's just been amazing.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the Anthropic Partner Network is basically a certification that you're going to go through and take. So they have some prerequisite kind of like courses that are online right now. And then I am quite honestly learning more about it because they haven't shared that much, just that I
Yeah.
was accepted into the network. I need, 10 people to come in with me. And once you kind of pass that certificate, those prerequisites that they require, and you get those certificates, that puts you in the position to go into this partner network where you will continue to grow and obtain skills, and they're going to start referring clients to you.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yes.
So, okay. So, so much I want to cover with you. This is fun. Immediately you said it as a phrase that just kind of truly resonated with me. You said success before you start your day, right? And this is really why I kind of take a step back and like, okay, let's go back a little bit, right? Because there are so many aha moments in this conversation with you, right? Like, you are a mom, your background is in hospitality, like, and well, real quick caveat, I had a dear manager. I tried to wait tables for a while. And years later, I run into him. I'm actually with my family, my father at this time, and he said, respectfully, sir, your daughter was the worst waitress I've ever had. We loved her, but she was like just terrible. So, but I say that because I recognize that like hospitality is very much, it's a trait. I mean, it's kind of, you either have it or you don't, and I didn't. I still don't, but that's okay. And to see you and your family clearly have that in you. And so this house manager, it makes so much sense, right? Because that's in you. That's like a core value of you to really have this management, anyway, I want to come back to that connection because to me it was so relevant.
Absolutely.
Okay. So fast forward a little bit, talk to us a little bit about, you're really doing this AI strategy. What was your aha moment to really bring it home to this house manager?
So, I got to tell you. So I read Dan Martell's book.
Cool. Okay.
And he talks about that his house manager was the most successful hire that he's ever had.
I believe it.
And I was like, how can we, I don't have the space yet in my business to bring a full-on house manager, into my home. But I said, how can we take this information and, input it into AI and create like an operating system that would actually help me manage my home so that, it's more structured, it's more organized. I've been moving a lot over the last couple of years. So that's very important to me because quite honestly, I'm like, where is that spatula? I know I packed it, a year ago when I was at this location and I cannot find it, So, and even just like as a busy mom with sports, meal planning, my dream is always like, oh yes, I meal plan and I watch all the YouTube videos and meal prep and all of that. But you know what?
You're living.
When this happens and, 3 days later, I have an empty refrigerator and I can't get anything done. On top of, I'm serving and, nurturing my clients, and I'm client for, I have fulfillment services that I do in my business as well. So this has been, probably in the works for the last couple of months. I've been doing a couple of case studies around it. But one of the first things that I created out of it was an automation that works with my Notes app and my phone.
Ooh.
It is connected to my supermarket. So I put the shopping list in my Notes app. And then when I pull up to, one of the lists I have is Costco. So when I pull up to Costco, it automatically pulls up my list and, tells me I've arrived at Costco. Here are all the things that, you have on the list, so I can go through and pick them out.
Wow.
If it's my, if it's a supermarket, like, I don't do a lot of Walmart orders, but maybe Target's one of them that I do use. And I like to use the pickup. So I'm working on it so that it will actually place my pickup order for me. And all I have to do is just drive up and, through the Walmart app, the Target app, it tells you that your order is ready. But I could just send them the list, send it the list, and it just takes care of it for me. Uh,
Wow.
I'm also, I also have like recipes attached to it. So if I know I'm, making viral gyros, that's the new thing in my house this week.
Cool.
That's on that's trending on TikTok right now. I make sure that all the ingredients are on the list and when I pull up so I don't forget anything.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that's just a little thing. But also, I've kind of organized like when I water my plants, my nighttime routine. So, it'll show up on ChatGPT, on tasks. That, I have to start my nighttime routine by 7 p.m. so I can get all the boys' sports things laid out. Um,
Yeah.
backpacks packed because, I try and remember, but I can't. And, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are really on top of all of that. But if I don't have something,
They're faking it. There's no way. That's
I have
unconvinced.
something helping me out. Sometimes, a client call comes in, an email comes in, and it's out the door. And now I'm, scurrying around in
Totally.
the morning. So, even for house cleaning and organization, I first moved into my new home. I snapped a picture of the entire kitchen. And then I put all the open boxes of all my kitchen utensils and appliances and plates. And I put pictures of that into ChatGPT, into my AI house manager. And I told it, I'm like, where do I put everything? And
Yeah.
it basically zoned out every single area of my kitchen. And this would have taken me days. And in 4 hours, I had everything way organized, accessible, and everything that I wasn't using, boxed up, put away. And this has been the most amazing kitchen setup I've had yet.
Wow. And that means a lot coming from you with your background. So I want to take a minute and I don't know if you hopefully you get enough credit, right? But your background is the perfect recipe for what you're creating, right? Like it's hard to imagine anyone else with any other background with their, could have led to these steps, right? So I just want to give you credit there. And I'm curious, if someone's listening to this and they're like, "Oh my gosh, yes, please." How do they take it outside of using, ChatGPT or whatever LLM they're using to kind of do some of the prompts that you've shared? How do they actually access, this tool that you've created, this operating system that you created?
Absolutely. So I'm in the process of making it accessible.
Awesome.
So probably, I'll be in connection with you
Please.
if you want to learn more and how to actually use it. But basically, I want to make it super simple.
Yeah.
Because I need simplicity. I don't want to, it has to be on a platform that I'm already using, right? I don't want to add to my, I want it to give me more time, more freedom, less friction. So I basically am connecting everything to my phone.
Awesome.
So all the automations go right through iPhone and
Wow.
yeah, so whether I'm using Claude, so my two mains are obviously are Claude and ChatGPT. So whether I'm using either one of those, I have set up so that all the automations go through my phone. So whether it's shopping, whether it's kitchen organization, whether it's my biggest thing right now is also running my home finances
Awesome.
just like a business, right? A lot of the times, I would say like, "Ugh, I don't know why, but sometimes doing home finances is always like, it's
You're like, why am I not a billionaire? I don't understand. I spend
Exactly.
like money. I don't
Exactly.
get it.
Well, even doing the business finances, it's just I don't know, it's just not my favorite thing to do. I can play on AI all day. I can, upload, edit, do all kinds of things. But for some reason, it's always just like, oh, it's time to pay the bills. But uh now it's easy. Every Saturday I make sure that I have already set aside time that I'm going to take care of that. And it almost removes the mental friction and the resistance because I know that's the time we're going to look at this. Fridays, I do the business finances. Saturdays, I do that. And it actually takes me less time than when I was, just kind of like scatterbrained and picking one day a month. Right. Every Saturday, I know what's going on. I review subscriptions. I know what's in, what's out, what's coming in, what's not, and it just makes it so much easier.
And as you're talking, though, I'm hearing, this could also work for the person that's, only able to do that once a month, like that, and Katherine, a lot of our listeners know this, but I live in Panama, right? So we actually we have a house manager, and we're blessed to have the ability to do that when you're living in a developing country with U.S. salary. Things look a little different, right? And
Absolutely.
I can't tell you, like, the running joke in my house is that, like, we can never leave this poor girl alone. Like, the Saturday morning, my husband's like, Najee, where'd you put my belt? And I'm like, hey, Najee, where'd you put, and I'm over here like, this would work. And like, trust me, there are people on a pedestal in my life. She's up there. Like, this, she can do no wrong, even if she puts our belts in crazy places.
But then you're here.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, this tool would give her the direction that I am not able to give her. And it's like, even my house manager could use this. It could be from people who don't have capacity to think about tomorrow and can only look at this once a month, to people that,
absolutely.
I mean, the range here is incredible.
It really just it customizes on your schedule. So if you want to do it once a month, you know that you have that time set aside, right?
Amazing.
And then just kind of removing the friction and helping you structure the like even the shopping, the meal planning, the organization gives you the mental freedom so that you can do it once a month.
Totally. Right? And Kevin, that's, at Gem AI, the whole reason that we do this is because we believe AI allows you time to be more human, right? And so that's the whole concept of these podcasts, the human side of AI, right? Because I'm really wanting to learn how these different humans are using it. And to me, this is like so head on. It's like, it's giving you more time to be human, period.
Absolutely.
Cool.
That was really I would say the purpose, because I felt like I was expelling so much energy just trying to keep all of the things together that at this point, and then I'm like, and then when I sit down to work, I'm like, I still have like the weight of all of that.
This is so relatable. Everyone can relate to this. Totally.
So the weight of all of that. So there are a few other companies, like there's one company that I know, I believe they're called Sage House, that also runs a house management system, but it's not through AI. They use a lot of like Notion documents.
Okay.
Right? But I'm like, if I have to print stuff out, that's
something you have your house manager do.
Right. So I'm like, if I have to print stuff out and now I'm, checklists and fumbling through more, that's just not going to work for me. I said, I just need something that, is going to be on my phone. It's going to work off my calendar. It's going to send me a reminder, and then it's actually going to, execute safely.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And to do it for you.
Right.
To execute it for you.
Right.
So you touched on this briefly. I want to come back to this. And for full transparency, I'm going to read my screen because I had my AI draft up some questions and it was a good one. So let me read it. um, what does mental load actually mean to you, right? And you didn't use it in that phrase just now, but you have. And why do you think productivity focused AI tools miss the mark for so many people? And I know you were just kind of touching on that, but let's come back to that a little bit more.
So I believe that the mental load is basically, especially for me, my mental load is remembering, tracking, planning, anticipating, and just managing, life, just outside of work, right?
Yeah. Totally.
So for me, this opportunity has been helping me with. But then when I'm, actually working, it just takes, so off because I know after I'm done with work, these are the items that I'm going to complete, and this is going to set me up for success for the next week, for the next month. Um, and then, I think productivity tools miss the mark because they focus, more on the output instead of the stress relief. Um, and I don't think they really, I think sometimes I've used a lot of productivity tools, but then I have to remember to use the product.
Yeah, no, it becomes an extra job.
Right. And so if it's not already in my everyday set of like and tools that I'm already using and I have to add something else, then for me, now I have to remember to do that. Now I have to remember to end it. For me, I always use notes. I'm always in and out of Claude, ChatGPT. So I have a project in there, actually, in both of them. That's an AI house manager, an AI house finance bookkeeper. I have one for organization. So I can, at any one point in time, I have one, that's just for meal planning. So I can just, at any one point in time, I go in there, I remember that recipe, I can upload, to the shopping list. So, for me, if I'm already using the tool, it has to be, accessible and what I'm already using for it to be productive for me.
No, I totally get it. Okay.
Yeah, so just like one and where I started was just quite honestly was setting up my kitchen. And I was like, wow, this was so amazing. Like usually this would have taken me, days. It would have taken me the whole weekend to unpack everything, figure out where I'm going to put everything and and then still worry about, work the next day and everything. It literally took me 4 hours to put everything away, have it super organized, and and it was just fantastic. So at that point I was like, what else can this do?
Yeah. Well, and there are a few things I want to touch on there because you would never think, how could an AI help you unpack your kitchen, right? Like that's not, they're not actually like unloading your boxes and putting the spaghetti sauce where it needs to go, right? And I think that's something that often would get missed as a tool to help you with that. And I know personally, like, okay, I grew up in Austin, Texas, right? And if I were to go back to Austin right now, I would use my GPS, right? Even though these are streets that I've driven on thousands and thousands of times in my life, right? But I say that because there's just something nice to like having direction given to you. Even if you don't necessarily need it, it takes that mental load off. And with this kitchen, it's like, to have that accountability partner to really like give you that direction. I mean, what a relief.
It really, it really was amazing because it actually broke. So not everybody's kitchen, every kitchen is different.
Totally. Yeah.
It broke, and I was like, wow, this one's a little bit smaller, has a little bit less space, doesn't have a pantry. What do I do? Right? So it actually sectioned it off into zones, which I thought
Amazing.
was brilliant. And it told me where to put everything. So I was like,
Amazing.
this is great. Um, and so it gave me more clarity, more structure. And for me, it's the decision fatigue. I
Totally.
overthink
Yeah.
a lot. And and for me, I was like, okay, great. That's fantastic. You say it goes there, it goes there. It fits perfectly. Let's do it. All the appliances, plates, this, that, done.
So
Um,
so until someone's able to use your operating system and it's accessible to others, what do you recommend for them to just kind of start transitioning their mind into using AI for their own house manager in the time being?
yeah, so my recommendation would be to start with one problem and pick one tool, right? Um, like I
Beautiful.
said, like for me, it was the kitchen. I was just like completely overwhelmed. And then I did my office. And I'm actually still working on my office, but uh but it was, just one problem and one tool. Pick Claude, pick Gemini, and what is it that you're trying? What is the one problem that's overwhelming you the most? Is it laundry? Is it planning? Is it emails? Is it, a nighttime routine? Is it your kitchen?
Yeah.
Pick one thing and then uh and then just go from there. Um, I would, I'd love to share. I have a couple of prompts that,
You read my mind. I think we're connected.
I have
I
a
think we're on the
couple
same
of
page.
prompts that I have. I also have a few iPhone techniques and tips
Oh,
that you
oh,
could use, especially.
where do we find this?
So I just playing around with AI, and then I also research a lot, like what actual house managers do.
But do you
So,
share these prompts on your website or where can other people get a
so
little bit of
right
this
now I
knowledge?
haven't, but I
Okay.
will.
Okay.
And
Cool.
I will love, love, love to give you the link.
Amazing.
And I can share all these resources.
Please.
Absolutely. Yeah, but basically, I've been doing this for a couple of months, and prior to, I said I really want to get like I want to see how it works, if the
Totally.
execution is if the automations work on my phone, how's it all, connecting? And I've been kind of testing it out the last few months, and it's been making a tremendous difference. But mainly I research what actual, house managers do in luxury homes. And I said,
Love
and then how can I apply that to my everyday life? And how can I utilize that not just for my home, but also business organization, right?
I love it.
And it's been awesome. So, and quite honestly, I've taken the grace and space where I'm not like rushing it, right? I've been doing one problem at a time. Great. How can we automate this? How can we make this better? And how can it save me time and give me more energy?
I
And
love it.
that's the place that I've been coming from. And I'm so excited to share it because I've been kind of like just doing it on my own. And I'm like, you know what? I wonder if,
Awesome.
Flora would be interested. It's been so great.
No, honestly, Catherine, and I like sorry for anyone listening. This is truly the first I'm like afraid to say this out loud. Um, this is truly the first like service that I've talked to that I'm like, okay, yes, this would actually take time away, like save me time instead of me using time to use it. And there, I've talked to so many founders of so many great products and services, and they're all doing such great things. And to me personally, like I'm like, please make it available. So it's and I feel like so many people are going to feel that.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you. But yeah, I would absolutely, be honored and thrilled to share with you all the resources that I have. And I have, like I said, I have some great little tricks on the phone that
Cool.
will help save you some time. And
Love
the
that.
other thing is, there's no learning curve. It's basically like take a picture, put the prompt in, done.
Cool.
Fantastic. This
Great.
is the shopping list. Send it to Target. Awesome. I really appreciate it. You know, so
Cool.
that's where it's been.
Success before you start your day. And I just keep coming back to that. And it's not even before you start your day, it's throughout your day. It's at the end of the day. It's allowing you that space to be more successful where you need to be.
Absolutely. Yes.
And I'm really excited. Well, Katherine, I know we're a little over. Thank you so much for connecting with me. And I'm really excited to continue following your journey and wherever you end up in the next season. And I hope you enjoy your time where you are now. And just thank you so much for this conversation.
Flora, thank you. It's been amazing, and I really appreciate this opportunity.
Cool. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.